So I've got my tea here to give you the tea. 4.6%. 4. Hi wonderful people and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Vanessa and I share content on the Christian faith, health, money and lifestyle. So can I just be real with you guys? I wanted to make a video on the benefits of getting shared ownership and the cons of getting shared ownership, and the more I thought about it, even the benefits are cons. So let's just get straight to the point. I previously recorded a video about my own personal experience of being on a shared ownership scheme. I currently own 100% of my property, but really I don't own it because it's still a leasehold, but it's a stepping stone. So let me just get the benefits out of the way. It's a good way to save money in a sense of, if you've bought a certain percentage of the property and you're paying into your mortgage, at some point you can remortgage and release equity from that property. So what I mean by that is, for example, we bought our property in 2015. By 2018-19, we've been paying into our mortgage for 3 years, and we got to the stage where we wanted to buy the other half because we bought 50% initially. So what we did was we went to the bank, and actually there was a miracle that happened. So if you see the previous 2 videos, I talk about us getting onto the shared ownership scheme and being trapped and needing to get a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time to be able to buy the other half of our property, or our rent will double. It's a great way to get onto the property ladder. But I think that if that statement alone is a vanity statement because really, if you're in a leasehold, you don't own the property. Like, for example, in comparison to a freehold where you genuinely own everything. And 2, you're still accountable to the housing association you're with. So regardless of how much you own, even though we own 100%, we still don't really own our property. We were able to get money that we'd invested in terms of mortgage repayments. So that allowed us to get enough money to gain a deposit to buy the other half of the property. So that is the one benefit I can think of. Yeah, so let's just get straight to the reason why you should avoid it. So I've got my tea here to give you the tea. So like, I wrote some notes in regards to why shared ownership is a bad idea, to be honest. And if I'm being perfectly honest, like, it's a scam that has been coated in the government trying to help you, and they have brought out even new rules which makes it even worse, which I'll talk about in another video, so do check that video out. The first thing is about shared ownership. The properties cost more, tends to be new builds in London, and obviously new properties, new apartments do cost more, so it's very hard to find a decent price when it's the full price, a shared ownership that's suitable. We were lucky enough to find a property that was a good 15 years old, so it wasn't too expensive. But I know that most properties, even 1-bedroom properties within London on the shared ownership scheme, can cost starting point at £300,000. So it's like, oh, they've increased the price to give you half price that you will still have to pay. So if you really think about it, you're not really getting a good deal. So that's one reason why you should avoid it. Another negative, or a con, or whatever you want to call it, is the restrictions. You're really restricted. For example, you can't sublet your property. You have to let them know, say you wanted to go abroad for a year. They may say, no, you can't rent it out to somebody else because we don't want you to, because we own ya. We own ya. Yeah, you can't sublet your property. Another restriction is you can't make any structural changes. If you wanted to do, you have no possibility. Most of them are flats anyway, but you can't do any extension or break any walls or anything like that. That's not allowed. Like, notifying them in terms of selling, which I'll go into more detail later. Like, you have to notify them, let them know about it first before you can even let other people know about it. There's just so many restrictions that people don't necessarily talk about, and I just wanted to share with you guys. Be mindful. Another reason is selling is difficult, in a sense of, when it comes to shared ownership, you're limited on who the lenders are, or lenders who are willing to give you a shared ownership mortgage. So you're restricted. We were paying, wait for it, wait for it, 4.6%. 4.6%. Because we were so restricted on who, a mortgage lender who was willing to give us that mortgage on a shared ownership. So even though you may be paying a certain amount, all the little fees and all the little things all adds up. So like, even for example, going back to my point about selling the property, when you want to sell it, you have to notify the housing association first. They get first dibs, in a sense of, for my housing association specifically, I have to give them 8 weeks of time to decide if anybody on their waiting list wants to buy my property, or if they want to buy it back themselves. Then I have the privilege, I'm supposed to be owning this property, right? I have the privilege to put it on the open market, and then think about the fact that there are requirements to be able to get on a shared ownership scheme. So now finding somebody who meets the criteria of earning a certain amount of money, being a first-time buyer, and all the additional things that are required to be on a shared ownership. So bit by bit, your boat gets shrunk down. And that's the difficulty of selling the property. It's so hard to sell it, but they're making it seem like, oh, you benefit from, you get onto the property ladder, which is true, but really, Another negative are the hidden fees, guys. I've spoken about it in my 2 previous videos, so do check them out. But the hidden fees, you're better off just renting a property. Honestly, rent your property. At least you know, if I'm paying £1,200, that's all it's going to be until whatever happens. Hidden fees like ground rent, service charges, them deciding they need more money for the bins, because they decided they want to change the bins. We have to pay for it as leaseholders. They decided, oh, there's burglars in the area, so they need to put maybe security cameras or more lights in the area. We have to pay for it. And getting people loitering, I hope that's the correct word. Yeah, loitering. See when people dash things outside, they'll throw their sofa outside, or put the old washing machine outside because they don't want to pay the £40 it requires in London for it to be collected. Yeah, that. We have to pay for it. They will send us a letter letting us know that we're going to be charged extra this month or this year in our rents, because they can. And these are just things to really be mindful about, of just like, wow, you can decide, you really control me more than I think. Another point that people don't necessarily talk about, is once you are on the shared ownership, even if you own 1%, you are considered a homeowner. So if anything breaks, your washing machine, your dishwasher, your rice cooker, if anything breaks, your rice cooker, big up Uncle Roger, if anything breaks, you are accountable for it. But you don't even own that property. Think about it. You don't own that property because you're still accountable to the housing association and the government. You still need to notify them when you want to do anything, even if you want to put in a new boiler, even though it's internal. If it can affect the external architecture, they have to be notified. So you really don't own anything, but that's another thing to take into account. So I just want to say, guys, let me know what you think, because if I was to go back, I would avoid it. I would rather rent a room or rent a place and keep my expenses as low as possible, struggle for a year, do what I've got to do, and then buy my freehold wherever I can. So I just want to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.